All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for NARA's Diversity and Inclusion Gala live stream. We're obviously disappointed that we couldn't hold this event in person as we had originally intended, but we're going to work through this platform tonight as we're still working hard to try to reschedule the event so that we can all celebrate in person in the same room. In the meantime, tonight we just wanted to spend a few minutes acknowledging our scholarship winners and hopefully provide a little bit of inspiration in what is currently feeling like a situation that's left us all feeling really vulnerable and uncertain. So we won't be here for the full 2 hours, obviously. We'll probably be here for about 20-25 minutes tonight. But what we will do shortly after is start to roll out a lot of the communication that we created in preparation for the event for it to be in person. So that includes videos from some of our prior winners, some diversity thought leader videos, as well as the acceptance speeches from the students that you're going to hear about tonight. So this is just the beginning of what we hope will be sort of at least a month-long celebration of our 25th anniversary. We've also created some storyboards and some other special, what will come up on social media and website pages that will give you an update on what some of our prior scholarship winners have been doing and how the scholarships impacted their lives. So all of this will also be part of the event that we do with each other, but we couldn't wait to save it because we've been working for almost a year, getting in touch with former winners and other people that have been part of this community. So stay tuned for that after we're done with this tonight. You're going to hear from our inspirational partners, and then we'll announce the winners. And then again, we'll provide some more details later on what to expect next and when you can expect a new date and time and location for the event. So I'm pleased to have with me on stage both Cynthia Ring, who is the current NARA board president. She's also the chief people officer for Harvard Pilgrim Health Plan, and which is one of the inspirational partners tonight. And we also have, who will be joining us shortly, I think just via phone, Lydia Green, who is the chief HR officer at Tufts Health Plan, and they are also an inspirational partner for the gala this year for the 25th annual event. I appreciate you both being here. Given everything that's going on in the world and the fact that you're both in healthcare, I know it's a bit of a stretch, even if it's only for a few minutes, so I appreciate that. We also have with us Aaron Green, who is the president and co-founder of PSG. He's been supporting our D&I initiatives, as most of you know, for many years. And he continues to lead the scholarship committee and has played an instrumental role in the growth of the scholarships over the last few years. I'm excited to announce that this year we're actually giving away $20,000 in college scholarships. And if you remember, not that long ago, we were giving about $6,000 in total to 3 students. And so the ability for us to give 2 of our scholarship winners $5,000 and a third winner $10,000 that can go towards the first and second year of college makes me really proud. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without Aaron's continued leadership and support. Before I turn it over to Cynthia, I just wanted to acknowledge a few people. Sorry, here I'm going to switch some slides. First and foremost, the NARA team. And I know they're all in the background. None of them knew I was going to do this part. I usually acknowledge them on stage and they all go hide, but guys, you can't hide tonight. So So we've been known as the small and mighty team, and I will tell you that when we made this decision to postpone the event about 4 weeks ago, we were all pretty sad about that. Not only because of just the time and the energy and the financial resources that we put towards creating a really big event, a big celebration for 25 years, but just because we really do love this event. And we decided just a couple of weeks ago to do this a live event. We didn't want to let the night go by without at least doing something. And so the team pulled together, as they always do, to put together this live stream, which is the first time we've actually done a real live stream like this. We've done quite a few webinars and things, but just to kind of be in person and live is our first time, so bear with us. And we wanted to use the opportunity to mark the event, but then also to recognize our scholarship winners, because if things go as according to plan, by the time we reschedule, they'll all be off to college. So we definitely wanted to give them a chance to be recognized. And so I really appreciate the team pulling this together so quickly. And we were exchanging texts and emails and things this morning, talking about just putting some final touches on the event and expressing a little bit of sadness about it. And so I asked them to share with me, like, what are you most, what are you going to miss most about not being together tonight for this event? And I wanted to share a few of those before we go forward. So we will miss seeing how excited people are, and I'm not going to cry this year. We'll miss seeing how excited people are to see each other when they walk in the door. All of the hugs and the laughter. It reminds you that there is a deep sense of community associated with this event. Someone else said we'll miss the chance to interact with some of the most talented HR and diversity leaders in our region in a more casual conversational way. We will certainly miss the feeling in the room when the scholarship winners take the stage and continuously blow us away with their poise and leadership. And finally, we'll miss the energy and the buzz that we feel as a team as we prepare for the gala. We're really proud. We're really proud of the work that everybody that attends this gala does, and it's great to be able to support them as they celebrate their achievements. So those are just a few sentiments from our part of the world, from our small and mighty team, if you will. I want to take a few minutes to thank our sponsors. These are all of our annual sponsors, and as I've said many times, we could not do the work that we do without these sponsors. Their generous financial support, their thought leadership, and their ability to just sort of advise us on a variety of things, whether it's content or even I've called on a few of them during these last few weeks to get some ideas about how they're handling their own businesses. So we really couldn't do it without them. And the annual sponsors tend to be around throughout the year, throughout different programming. But we also have over 50 organizations that are part of this event. And that includes our inspirational partners as well as the VIP sponsors. All of our special sponsors that are specific to different partnerships, including like the video and the VIP reception, our legacy sponsor, and of course our scholarship sponsors, as well as our gift sponsor, the past storyboards that I mentioned, we have a sponsor for that, our centerpiece sponsors, and of course the program book sponsors. So we just wanted to take a moment. Again, this will all be sort of repeated when we come together again, but I just wanted to make sure that we recognized everybody tonight. I can hear your applause. I know I can, so thank you. I also, last but not least, our event and supporting sponsors. And these are, again, if you add these all up, it's well over 50 organizations that support just this event. So it's really, really kind of great. I also wanted to thank the scholarship committee, and Erin in particular, as I mentioned to you, has been leading this scholarship committee for a very long time. As an organization at NARA, we rely on our sponsors quite a bit. We have probably over 60 people that we interact with in a given year that provide some sort of volunteer leadership for us, and this scholarship committee is definitely a highlight of that. There's a lot of work that goes into this. They review all of the scholarship applications that come in. They interview a select number of candidates, and then they have the arduous task of choosing only 3. So it really is important that the work that this committee does is really important, and Aaron has done a great job of leading that. He was also joined this year by Jennifer Fucci, who has helped us create the acceptance speeches, which you'll see later on tomorrow and in the coming weeks from the scholarship winners. So we really appreciate everything that this committee does. If we didn't have their sort of continued commitment to this, we wouldn't be able to sustain the scholarship program. So I really appreciate that. So you'll hear more about the scholarship winners in a few minutes, but in the meantime, I'd like to turn it over to Cynthia Ring.
Thank you, Tracy. And welcome and good evening to everyone. My daughter happens to be a high school senior, and so I thought I would take an opportunity to pick her brain on some things that I could share with you tonight that would be inspirational to folks your age. And as Tracy mentioned, in reading your bios and reading your recommendations and the things that you've done in the small number of years that you've been on this world are quite amazing. You're an inspiration in yourselves and what you've done, the endeavors that you've taken on, and what's ahead of you. So I'll share these words and hopefully they will provide some insight to your future ahead. So the more you know, the less you see. I remember hearing this statement when I was your age, and I thought it was peculiar then, but I know it to be true now. And so let me explain. Knowledge is a beautiful thing, and we're all infinitely seeking it each and every day. Because of our curiosity and willingness to learn and lean into things that we don't know, we are able to see more. We see more about ourselves, about the people around us, about the world that we live in. Seeking knowledge exposes us to things that we thought we knew, only to realize that we didn't really quite know, and that our beliefs and assumptions might be wrong. Seeking knowledge requires us to listen, and when we listen, we see things clearly. The knowledge we all seek right now around the world is tied up in solving for coronavirus and the impacts it's having on our country, the world, and everyone around us. We're seeing things very differently than we have before because we're seeking knowledge that we don't have. And perhaps we, or the medical field, thought that we did have. As we are seeing in so many stories around the world, we can and do overcome fear by action and by acting. Each of our recipients have acted to be here today. They have overcome adversity and leaned into knowledge of sports and science, debate, social justice, and life. Each of you is experiencing firsthand a test in resiliency and courage. You're faced with things you've waited for and counted on for 4 years, like proms and sports tournaments and dance recitals and debate championships, and perhaps even graduation, which might be put off at this point in time with what we're facing. You will be the class that's stronger because of this moment in time. How you take in this knowledge and what you do with it will set a mark on history and on your lives and on our lives. You're teaching us just how strong our youth are. You all have set a path and a purpose, and my wish for you is to see what is ahead of you and to always continue to seek knowledge. Find failure often, might sound strange, but find failure often. Succeed enough to be happy and contribute in ways the world needs, and that both your failures and successes bring you a greater path and purpose that you see as you continue to seek knowledge in your lives. Congratulations to each of you, and best of luck in your future endeavors. And now I'll pass it to hopefully Lydia. So, Lydia Green, are you with us?
Would you like me to jump in and then Lydia could follow me?
So I'm going to pass it over to Erin.
Okay, I'll try to fill in for both Greens, even though we spell it differently. And hopefully Lydia will follow. She's a good friend. Well, thanks. First off, Tracy lied. She's crying, I think, as best I can tell. Or I can't quite tell, but it looks like it a little, maybe. I don't know. No, all right, it's the glasses. So yeah, thanks, Cynthia. I'm Erin Green. I'm the CEO and founder of Professional Staffing Group, and I've been a part of the Diversity Scholarship Committee with the D&I Gala now for going on about 20 years. So I think we've come a long way. Tracy remembers when we gave away or awarded $6,000 in scholarships. I actually remember when it was 2, and then it was 3, and then it was 6, and now it's just so inspiring to see us up to $20,000 with one person receiving $10,000 this year. First off, I know Tracy acknowledged the scholarship committee, but I did want to acknowledge the colleagues that I've worked with for, in many cases, many years, who have each really done a tremendous amount of volunteer work to ensure that we select the right scholarship recipients each year, people who really who live the sort of the values that the scholarship was founded based upon. So I want to first off thank Donald Cummings from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, and Gwendolyn McCoy of Diversity at Work, as well as Marion Byerly with Gelsher Associates, and Heather Germain with PSG. Each of those 4 people represents each of our 4 scholarship sponsors this year. In addition, I want to thank 2 previous scholarship recipients who joined our committee for each of the last 2 years, Shanika Davis and Bilal Lafta. I also want to thank Debbie Minori, Alicine Francoise, and my 2 co-chairs on the committee, Carol Edson, who I recognize she does work as part of NERA, but given how much of our scholarship work is done after hours and in our own time, Carol deserves, I think, double recognition for the work that she's done connecting us to NERA as a committee and also organizing us as a committee. And finally, Jennifer Fucci, who has done an amazing job stepping in as co-chair this year. Jennifer, I've had a really nice time working with you over the years, and I was just so glad to hear that you decided to volunteer to be our co-chair this year, and also to coach our recipients on the videos that you guys will have a chance to see. Are the videos on the website now? No, not yet. Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay,
sorry, not yet.
No, not yet. All right, I was actually gonna have people log into the website or get over the website just to make sure they saw them. But these are really good videos, guys. So definitely make sure that you check them out when they do become available. First of all, I just want to maybe just share a few thoughts. As things have been changing dramatically, I was looking back tonight to just see, like, when was it that we actually selected the scholarship recipients? And lo and behold, it was 1 month ago today, and I can't believe how much the world has changed in that time, and for all of us in so many different ways. I wanted to take a moment to just, as an HR organization, to recognize the 10 million people who in our country have lost their jobs in the last 2 weeks. It's just it's awful, literally in the truest sense of the word. It's unfathomable what that means to us as a nation, and to those individuals, each of those 10 million people who really have become unemployed in just 2 weeks' time. As this whole COVID-19 thing has progressed, I've done a lot of sort of thinking for myself about, sort of first off, how hard things are. It just seems like every day, everything that used to be easy is hard. For myself, whether it's just making sure I've got the food that I want to eat, and understanding what routine I'm in, and figuring out when work starts and work stops, and what you do in between those times when you're not working, or what sort of exercise routine do I do now that I'm sort of trapped in my little condo. And over the past couple of weeks, what I've started doing is thinking about what things that I'm thankful for. I wanted to share some of those things with this group. First off, I'm thankful for the fact that my friends, and I really feel fortunate that my friends and family have been so far healthy through the disease that's sort of coming across our country and the world. I'm thankful to be able to go on long walks. That's something I haven't ever really done. And all of a sudden I'm finding that, these nice 2-3 hour walks are really cool, with nice breaks in the day or on weekends. I'm thankful for the fact that I finally got to wear a dress shirt today. I haven't done this in, I think, 2 weeks, so appreciate that opportunity. The fact that video works, right? Like, if this had happened to us 15 years ago, this would be an audio conference, and we wouldn't be able to see each other and connect in ways that video allows us to connect. And I'll say it maybe second to last. I'm thankful for, maybe I'll make this last. I'm really thankful for the fact I'm Jewish. I haven't practiced really since I left my parents' house 30 years ago, and my mother's enjoys the culture of religion, the Jewish religion, and my brother and his family are fairly religious as well. And this year, I haven't done a Passover Seder in, I don't know, 30 years probably. And this year we're going to be having a Passover Seder in 3 different locations. My brother's in Ecuador with his family. My mom's down in South Florida with her boyfriend. And I'll be here with my girlfriend in Boston, and we're going to do a FaceTime Passover Seder. So I'm really looking forward to that. And, it's just kind of cool, the things that you value now that some of the things that you used to value aren't quite available for you. I'm going to try not to get emotional too. In any event, I'll get onto the scholarship recipients. So Norma Carnegie Clark was a board member of NERA's many, many years ago, a few decades ago, and as an advocate for diversity and as a staunch advocate for NERA as an organization. Following her passing, the NERA board decided to create a scholarship in her name that recognized leaders in diversity, emerging leaders in diversity, like the 3 people that we'll be recognizing shortly. Over the years, as I mentioned, that the scholarship has grown, but one thing that's always stayed the same is our values. This scholarship is really geared toward people who make a difference within diversity at an age that I'm not even sure I understood what diversity was when I was 16, 17, 18 years old. And these kids are, these young adults have done things that, that to this day still make me feel like I haven't done enough. We also recognize good grades. We also recognize a commitment to their community and their schools. And what's really particular, I think, cool about this scholarship is that it's not needs-based. So we don't try to evaluate who needs it most. It's not grades-based. It's who has the best grades. It's what have you done to make a difference in the community that you're a part of. So I wanted to maybe switch the slide and move to the recipients. As always, what the committee does is we receive applications from Boston High School students, and we've developed great relationships with the various schools in the area over the past 20 years, and they send us their best. This year, we had the opportunity to evaluate a few dozen scholarship applications, and we're able to select 3 recipients this year. It's always interesting, as the committee, first we evaluate the application forms, and then we invite typically between 6 to 8 of the students in to come interview with us in person. And the scholarship committee meets in person and then interviews the students. And then at the end of that evening, we then sit down and sort of deliberate and debate and select the students. I want to encourage you, as you get the material that's coming out in the next day or so, you've got to see the videos that these kids produce. They're so, I don't know, we always get to sort of hear them on stage and get inspired by the words that they say. And it's just the fact that they're, I think you get a chance to know them through the videos in a way that maybe you don't necessarily get on stage. So maybe that could go in my thankful column as well. It was kind of a neat insight into these guys' lives that we might not otherwise get to see. Tyrone Coleman, as you can see, is the recipient of one of our scholarships, the scholarship that's sponsored by Gosher Associates. Dina Kobiesi, who is an amazing sort of powerful presence, who attends Boston Latin School and is receiving for the first time ever a scholarship in year 1, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, and a scholarship for her second year in college that's sponsored by Diversity at Workplace. Sorry, I apologize for not getting the name right when I mentioned it before. And James Tully Lyons attends Boston Community Leadership Academy and is receiving a scholarship that has been that's been sponsored by my organization, PSG. Tyrone's got an amazing personal story and a great sort of take on things in his video. As I mentioned, Dina is really a sort of a presence that needs to be experienced. And Tully has done some amazing work advocating for, among other things, the Yes on 3 campaign on behalf of transgender rights. I had a really neat insight that he shared with the committee in regard to the work that he did there. So there are 3 amazing students, and I'm really appreciative of the fact that NERA had decided to, in a way of sort of keeping the gala going and recognizing our 25th year, decided to choose, amongst other things, a scholarship section of the gala to be the part that sort of lived on and continued on during this year. So with that, I can hand it back to either Tracy or Lydia, but I really appreciate having the opportunity to speak to everybody this evening. And once again, I ran over my allotted time as part of the scholarship.
Hey, it wouldn't be a gala if you didn't run over your time, Aaron. It's okay.
Hey, at least we're going to end before 9, Tracy,
Touche. Do we have Lydia on? No. We might just have to do it again. I'm just kidding.
I guess we will.
Yeah, we can definitely. We'll find another time for Lydia to join us and to recognize our winners and our sponsors and all of that. But in the meantime, I just want to thank both of you for joining us tonight and to mark this occasion. And I look forward to the time when we can all be in the same room. And in the meantime, to both of you and to everyone out there, please stay safe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and be well. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
Thanks.
Night.
Be well.